Sometimes, in global politics, a voice rises above the noise. In May 2025, that voice was Ghana's president, John Dramani Mahama. He wasn't just speaking for Ghana, he was speaking for Africa, a continent tired of being misrepresented. President Mahama decided it was time to remind the world that Africa has its own story, its own heroes, and its own truth. This was more than politics. It was a declaration of dignity. It's rare to see an African leader so directly challenge a figure like US President Donald Trump. Usually there's diplomatic tiptoeing, but Mahama knew some things are too important for silence. Trump had repeated debunked claims about a white genocide in South Africa, a dangerous, false narrative. Mahama stepped up. Not on our watch, not with our history. He didn't just tweet, he wrote a powerful op-ed, laying out facts and history, exposing the insult in Trump's words. This was a masterclass in standing firm. Mahama's stand resonated far beyond Ghana, signaling to African leaders and youth that Africa can shape its own destiny. He reminded the world, the lions of Africa have voices, and when they roar, the world should listen. This was a moment of pride, a clear assertion of sovereignty and storytelling. Africa is not a passive recipient of global narratives, but an active shaper of its own story. Mahama's courage inspired many, showing that truth and respect matter on the world stage. It was a call for Africa to reclaim its narrative. The world took notice, and Africa's story was heard. So what did Trump actually say? On May 21, 2025, during a meeting with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, Trump revived his favorite myth, a supposed white genocide in South Africa. He accused the government of orchestrating land seizures and violence against white farmers, a claim long debunked by global human rights observers and major news outlets. Trump's narrative paints a picture of chaos and targeted violence, but the reality is far more complex. The so-called evidence, misrepresented images, even photos from other countries, passed off as South African tragedies. This isn't just sloppy. It's a deliberate attempt to deceive and stoke fear. These claims fuel racial tension and provide ammunition for extremists, distracting from South Africa's real challenges. When powerful platforms spread falsehoods, they undermine genuine efforts at reconciliation. That's why Mahama's response was so crucial, to counter misinformation with truth and context. These narratives aren't harmless, they have real-world consequences. Africa needed a clear, steady voice. Mahama delivered. On May 28, 2025, The Guardian published Mahama's powerful op-ed, a direct, forceful rebuttal to Trump. Mahama called Trump's remarks an insult to all Africans, not just South Africans. He reminded the world of the deep scars of colonization and apartheid, systems that brutalized millions for centuries. To flip the script and claim the descendants of colonizers are now victims is a grotesque distortion. Mahama pointed out, if black South Africans wanted revenge, it would have happened when apartheid ended. Instead, they chose reconciliation. This fact alone dismantles Trump's narrative. Mahama called out Trump's words as dangerous misinformation and historical revisionism. He highlighted how language and narrative can be used as tools of domination. Trump's remarks, Mahama argued, were an attempt to recolonize the African story. Mahama stood firm. Africa's truth would not be rewritten. His message was clear. Enough is enough. The world listened. World. Mahama didn't just argue. He brought history. He recalled Ghana's solidarity with South Africa during apartheid, from Sharpeville to Soweto. These events were rallying cries for African liberation, not distant memories. Mahama pointed out that, even today, white South Africans, less than 10% of the population, control over 70% of agricultural land and wealth. If there were a white genocide, wouldn't these numbers look different? He also mentioned Afrikaner-only settlements like Orania, which preserve apartheid-era culture. If white South Africans truly feared persecution, wouldn't they flock there? The existence of these enclaves undermines the narrative of widespread state-sanctioned persecution. Mahama quoted Desmond Tutu, "If you want to destroy a people, you destroy their memory, you destroy their history. Memory and history are vital forms of resistance. By twisting history, one seeks to control and diminish a people." Mahama's stand was a defense of Africa's memory and soul. The truth matters. Mahama's response was rooted in Pan-Africanism. He echoed Kwame Nkrumah. Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa. This was about more than correcting Trump. It was about Africa defining itself. For too long, outsiders have told Africa's story, often painting it as a place of darkness or despair. Mahama argued, this must end. Africa's story must be told by Africans. It's about reclaiming the microphone, the pen, and the global stage. Mahama called for unity to resist false narratives pushed by powerful Western platforms. He urged collective effort to protect Africa's history from distortion. The youth, he said, are at the forefront. Over half of South Africa's population is under 29, focused on building a unified, inclusive future. Their energy and creativity are Africa's greatest hope. Narrative sovereignty is as crucial as political independence. The future belongs to those who tell their own story. Mahama's op-ed sparked swift, positive reactions across Africa. Social media buzzed with praise. Young people, journalists, and activists saw him as a statesman defending Africa's dignity. International media took note. This was a rare, bold move from an African leader. But there was also critical debate. Ghanaian journalist Kezi Pratt-Gienaar commended Mahama's boldness, but questioned the consistency of his Pan-African stance while a US military base remained in Ghana. Pratt argued, true liberation requires action, not just words. This critique highlighted the tension between rhetoric and reality in Africa's struggle for sovereignty. The conversation deepened, showing that Africa's journey is ongoing and complex. Mahama's stand sparked both pride and important questions. The debate continues. In the end, Mahama's intervention was a call to honor history, not twist it for politics. He urged that recognizing past injustices is about building a foundation for real progress. You can't build a future on lies or amnesia. Mahama called for vigilance. Africans must stand firm in truth, especially when powerful voices try to rewrite history. The battle for narrative is ongoing, fought daily with facts and courage. Authentic storytelling unlocks potential and inspires new generations. Mahama's stand was an act of self-definition, an African leader telling an African truth. His actions inspire others to speak truth to power. Africa's true story must be sung loud for the dignity of its people and the enlightenment of the world. And that's a tune worth listening to. Like, share, and subscribe for more truth.